welcome and for joining. I have to do a retake. Welcome to and thank you for joining me to Google Slides tips and tricks. Now these are beyond the typical, and I actually got this entire presentation from, credits are right there, by Becky Fulmer, and you can check her out. She's a phys ed teacher. That's her Twitter handle. And I found one other neat trick from her. But what I did with her presentation is I made my own presentation that is interactive. And I also plugged in extra add-ons. I put in there some extensions, and we're going to go through those together. So I want to show you her very first one here. It's resizing. Now, you don't have a practice file open yet. I'll give you that link in a moment, and it'll be in the recording description. So anybody watching this recording can go into the video description and grab the link. Whenever you resize images, I see this still today, that when they're resized, you need to grab the corner handle so that it is resized proportionately. And her animated GIF is showing. If you do it just, on the sides, you end up stretching or skewing the image. So I need to just escape out of this show for a moment, because I would like to grab a second presentation that is the one I worked up that is a little to do. And this is it, where we could practice each tip. And I'm going to actually give you a copy of it. So I have on my slide, and I'm using one of the tips actually. And the tip is that when you click the link, it's actually going to show you a template preview. And so when you click the link that I just pasted in the chat, or it's going to be the link down in the video description, it should open as a template preview. So I will show that right now in an incognito window, as if I had clicked on the link. It shows a preview, and I have a button at the top right to use this template. So clicking use template makes a copy for me. And now, as we proceed through this class, you can edit this one and manipulate it all you like. So mine is taking a little time to make its copy, and I can have that go off to the side here for a little bit, because I already have this opened up. Now, let me go back, and I want to check with all of those who are live with me. Are you able to make the copy of the interactive file? Somebody can give me a thumbs up, or okay, so Andrea gave me a yes in our chat. Good to hear. So this is what the original would look like. And I even want to make a copy of this one. And there's a little black box that's covering the top right corner of my screen. Okay, yes, I see that. All right, we'll see why that's happening. Nothing should be there. So I suppose as I keep talking about, yeah, that is interesting. Okay, I apologize. I don't know why that little box is there. And I tried getting rid of it, but I can also pull down my window. There we go. So now whatever I'm referencing won't be covered by that mysterious black box. Thank you for that, Ruth. I'm on slide 2. If you're trying to practice along with me, you're looking at a slide with a big elephant on it. And this is for us to practice resizing. If you're watching the recording of this, then just hit pause and go to the presentation, do your resize, and remember, we want to grab the blue square from the corner. I click someplace on that elephant to activate its borders. I go to the corner, and that's where I do my resize. And he might not be in the center now, so I might scooch him over by clicking and moving to reposition. Pretty easy. There's a checkbox on each of these to-do slides. You know what? You've probably already knew this and you've done it, but think about telling students. I watch students go to the side handle instead of the corner, and it makes a world of difference, and they aren't wasting their time inching over and over. Now there's a bonus resize only because I did a photograph the first time. Now, if you move to slide 3, you're going to see resizing a shape can be tricky because the corner handle doesn't work the same. So I could do that. And I'm still using the corner handle, but I squashed my little character. Well, that's because it's a shape that's here from Google Slides. Another way is to just hold down your shift key while you're resizing those. And I chose a cube and a smiley just because those are easily recognizable if they're off. And I can hold down shift. Then I put my mouse arrow on the corner square and I can resize. Maybe you knew about this one, maybe you didn't. Move your check mark if you like. That's just a self check. For those who are watching the recording, move those. That'll be neat for me to see later who picked up some new skills and who already knew some of those. Now, before I move off slide 3, I want to ask with those who are live with me, are we all together? You can give me a reaction, like a thumbs up in our Zoom, like Shannon just did, thank you. Or you can text okay in the chat. So I'm seeing some thumbs up out there. And if you can't find the reactions button, that's okay. And I've had some folks take class while they were driving. They couldn't actually interact. They went back to do those things later. And so if that's the case, by all means, you can send a chat saying so. Now I want to check on a few of you out there. Melissa, I didn't see anything from you yet. Okay. I think the majority I got you. I'll check in with you all again. Okay, so thank you, Melissa. She got me. I'm going to move to slide 4. And thinking about that elephant, where do you get your images? I have learned about this place. It's a copyright-free image source. And when you hear copyright-free, wow, those are far and few between. I hear royalty-free, I hear copyright-friendly, but copyright-free, whoa, that's huge. And that's something you can click on if you would like. This is just extra. This is tips that weren't part of Becky Fulmer's presentation, but things that I've come across. And this actually was from some Ashland teachers. So I should give credit to them, actually. They did a presentation back in October, and I grabbed this from their presentation. And what this is, just a website. So if you want to click that link on that slide by clicking the photo, you can. And it lets you search. And you can bring in whatever images you find. And they do have an extension. I'm not saying you have to go get the extension, but you can see kind of the complicated, pickle I'm in. When I'm sitting here, I have these images, I'm looking at them, but then my presentation's over here on another tab. And I'll repeat this trick. This one I did get from Becky as well. But if you have a picture like this, and you just drag that picture up to the other tab, you can bring it to that tab. And when you're on the slide where you want that to drop, let go of your mouse. And there is the picture. You don't have to copy, you don't have to paste, you don't have to download. I'll repeat this one. It's pretty slick. I will say I didn't know about this one until I was gathering these examples for class. So it was new to me too. Other than just going out to their website, there is Unsplash for Chrome. And you might like the extension if you're a person who signs into Google Chrome, if you like using extensions and you understand them. Like I said, this is, a bit beyond the typical. This isn't a basics class for slides or for extensions or Chrome. So if you want to go to the next level, you can go get their extension. And I happen to have it up here. When I click, then you can see that the last search I did for was for an elephant. And my old search is still waiting there. And ironically enough, look at that. This is this little elephant that I used, and I found him differently because typically I come to insert image and I just search the web right here. No need to leave this slides presentation. If you pick insert image, you could also hit explore. And if I search for elephant, and what I like about Google's built-in image search, these are copyright friendly. They're pretty good, but you're really going to be limited. I really like the Unsplash website as well. So a resource, a tip, that was resizing. So let me get back to the presentation because I have lots of different tabs open here. We'll get a few things closed that I don't need. All right, that was tip number 1, resize. And what I did, I threw in a resource in there for you too. So I'll present this to full screen just so it looks clean. Cropping. What do you do when you are cropping? How do you do it? So cropping is something you want to do without changing the picture entirely. If you're trying to crop, you select the image, you go up to the toolbar and you'll see a little kind of cropping icon. Don't know a better way to describe it, but you can see in this animation made up what not to do. You, again, don't want to try to use the middle blue resize handles to force that image to fit in. This one is just showing you how the big image is displayed. Then when you're on those side handles, you have to be careful not to grab the blue square. You need to grab the darker, double thick sidebars. And they're showing you the wrong way where somebody accidentally squeezed it in. I see students do this often. A keyboard or really a mouse trick, if you don't like going up to the toolbar to go get the cropping tool, then just double click on the photo and that triggers, whether you're in slides or docs or Microsoft products, a double click on the image will trigger the cropping tool. So let's go do this. I'm going to escape out of the present mode and we'll come to masking next. I'm here on my copy and we're all going to slide number 6. On slide 6, I have something for you to do. Try and find Waldo. I really liked this tongue-in-cheek example. We've had a lot of social distancing. So I could select once and go up to the crop tool. I could double click the image and that triggers the crop tool. And that's my favorite. That's the one I use all the time. So if you want to try the corner handle, that's great. Just watch. Make sure you have the proper symbols. If you have the arrow and you are starting to pull, and you notice that some of the image seems to be left behind, that's great. You are cropping. So I'm going to crop in so I can locate Waldo. It gets a little easier when you get away, when these black bars get away from the blue handles. Sometimes I still grab them by accident. And to finalize a crop, you could hit enter or return on your keyboard. And now your crop is complete. Move the check over if this was new to you, if you already knew the skill. Maybe the double click technique was actually new to you. Not sure, but you can keep track of how you, what you've learned, and we're going to move on to masking. Masking, pictures you put in, photographs, can be masked with some type of frame. And even animated GIFs can be masked, so that's pretty awesome. And the animation's showing that there is a little arrow right to the right side of the crop tool. So since we just used the crop tool, you know where it is. And the arrow, I will tell you this, if you forget this one, don't worry, come back to the presentation. You have the animation to remind you. I lost this all the time at first, and now it finally has stuck, but I would forget several times. I know where it is. I'd be clicking all kinds of menus, but finally I would go over to that arrow beside the crop tool and then pick my shape. So whatever image we have in our example, I'm going to escape. Let's flip back here. I'm going on to slide 7. Ah, good. A mask, right? Aren't you glad I didn't choose the other kind of mask? So this is a theater mask, a Mardi Gras mask, something a little bit more elegant and decorative. I gave you a screenshot there on slide 7, so you can click the arrow and see that there are shapes. Now, the frame I put in here, that's not part of the image, so select your image, go up to the arrow beside the crop tool, click. To reveal your choices, you can pick any of the shapes, any of the arrows, callouts, or equations. Now, obviously, trying to cram this image into a division symbol really isn't effective. It's not going to do anything. But you can choose any of these to see it applied and keep choosing new ones. It's pretty easy to switch. Now, masking is a form of cropping. And if I'm not happy, I'm kind of stuck. See how there's no shadowed out or translucent look of the image? I'm not able to actually reposition this. It's going to move the whole image. So I wanted to let you know that. I'm going to pause here for checking with my live crew. How's everybody doing? If you want to give me a thumbs up, if you're ready to move on. Thanks, Shannon. Okay, and Andrea, Melissa, Sherry, Ruth, and Dawn. Wonderful. I have to look fast because they only stay up a little bit. I got Peggy and Nikki and Melissa. Okay. Jenny and Laura. I'm not sure if I saw you too. Thank you, Sandra. I feel like romper room. Some of you might know that, probably half of you don't. Hey, there's Laura. Great, thank you. So Nikki and Sandra, you guys thanks for putting things into the chat too. I'm forgetting to look up there. We're moving on from masking to our next tip. You're like, okay, Rebecca, this is all pretty simple, pretty elementary. But let's go to this one. To copy something without copy paste. Now you already have something copied. You want to paste it into a text box and you want to use the same formatting because it takes time. You're wasting, precious moments trying to make your lesson plans and your presentations, and you're fiddling around with matching the font and the size, but you can get an exact copy just by clicking the edge of a text box that you want to copy. Now, if you're on a Mac or you're going to want to use the Option key, I put that at the bottom. And if you're on a PC or a Chromebook, you're going to hold down the control key. And while you're on the edge of the text box, now you're going to drag down. And I'm going to escape from here to practice this with you. So in the practice file, this is slide 8 and copy without copy paste. Hideous looking text box. Why anybody would want to keep using this font and the layout and the border is beyond me, but it does get your attention at least. I select, and I'm on a Mac, so I have to hold down the Option key. If you're on a PC, hold down your Control key. You have the 4-way arrow, and you're going to just simply drag it. And there it is, copy and paste. It works for the images as well. Or if you have shapes, just try your Control key and do this as many times as you would like. Now I don't have to fiddle with adding text boxes, trying to adjust the font size, the font style, and the color. It's all taken care of. Move your check mark if this is something you knew. For me, this was a new skill. I didn't know about this one and have been already taking advantage of it. I knew another technique. It was a keyboard shortcut. Control D lets you duplicate. It's not bad, but this one's pretty good too. So you get to pick your poison, which method you would prefer. Moving forward, I'm kind of going through these fast. Hopefully for those who watch the recording, you can pause. All of you have a link to the presentation, so you can rewatch the animations that are in here. I just want to be sure we get through all of them. Moving on to paste without the formatting. You're having students or yourself work, you go get a resource. The text comes from a website. That website is going to have its own style, font, size, color, and you don't want to inherit that. You want it to match the presentation. By all means, you went through all the effort of making that awful purple dashed line font. Why not use it? So what we're going to do is grab some text from another website. If you want to open another file on your computer, that's fine. And the animation is showing somebody who just pasted it with the formatting. And then the bottom is showing somebody who held down. You see, we can do Control+C for your copy. But when you paste, Control-Shift, and then you're going to tap your V key for your paste. The shift is the added bonus. It's the thing that's telling it, hey, I want to use the formatting that's already there. So enough talk, let's practice. And in our practice file, this is going to be, oops, how have I done that? Copy paste, seem to be out of sync. I have a slide in here I'll come back to. So let's jump to slide 10 for what we need to do. Paste without the formatting. I'm going out to Dogo News because that's the link I provided. You can go somewhere else, your choice. And I thought this was a fun article here where an Italian artist, knowing my background, he sells an invisible sculpture for $18,000. How about that? I wish I could have pulled that off, but I'm going to go here. I see that this is big, bold, heading text, and I'm going to try my keyboard shortcut to copy. So Control or Command C for copy. If you prefer right clicking, you can do that too. So that's the same old way you always do it. That's copy. I come back here. Now, because this is a shape, I'm going to need to double click on it. So double click in my practice file, and I need to hold down. If I'm on a PC, Control-Shift-V. If I'm on my Mac, Command-Shift-V. And you see me looking. Oh, surprise. This is what font was already triggered. So you should be seeing a script, kind of like a handwriting style font when you paste this. And it works well across other applications. We're often grabbing example problems or reading passages from websites or other resources, a PDF, and we don't want to inherit those styles. This is how you can do it with the Shift key. So if this was new to you, move your marker across the bottom of your slide. And I need to come back to slide 9 because it appears I might have that one out of order. Or I might have just added that one. Oh, it's coming up. So Control A, I just have that slide out of order in our practice file. So apologies. Here we go. We've just done without formatting, custom. What did I skip? Let's see, Control A must be how I'm navigating the presentation. So Control A is a keyboard shortcut for selecting all. But did you know a double click in a text box, what it will do? Or what about a triple click? Now, if you're on a touchpad, those are a little harder, but you can still do them. So that'd be a triple tap or double tap. But you do, if you want everything, multiple paragraphs on a page, you do need to have the Control key and the letter A. Now, I'm going to go to the practice file. It's not like you can really show me this unless you've chosen screen share, but I don't have anybody doing that. And I'm going to click the text that was provided. If I click one time, fine, the cursor appears. Double click, it selects one word. Triple click, it selects one paragraph. Now, in this case, my paragraph is short, it's just a sentence. But if I need to try to select everything in this text box, then I need to hit the Control A, or on a Mac, Command A to grab everything. Now, this one actually had 3 skills in it. And if at least one of those was new to you, just move your marker over. If it was new, at least a piece of it. It saves you a lot of time. I have watched students trying to grab, let's see, they wanted a word and they're sliding around, or they're trying to get a piece of a word and they don't have mice. On a trackpad, it is painful to watch students do that. But if they know, apologies for skipping off my slide, but if they know that they could double tap their trackpad, tap, tap, click, click, 2 times, instead of trying to slide on a trackpad, this is a much easier way for them to select. So I'll stop or pause right here and check with everybody out there. And if you want to put in the chat, I'm curious, did many of you know about the double or the triple click? And so Sandra has a thumbs up. Peggy says no. Oh, good, Melissa. See, I worry about you. You know so much that I'm glad that I got a new one for you. Triple was new for Melissa. And Nikki and Sandra both said no. New for Laura. Wonderful. You might think it's silly, like these are really little things, but they save you time and carpal tunnel from sliding when text is annoying to try to select. And so Dawn was familiar with double and triple, but not Control A. Oh, silly. I consider Control A like the oldest one. Like that's one everybody knows. And here, Dawn, you've surprised me. Well, and if you're wondering why I picked those sentences, it shows in the speaker notes. These are pangrams, a hollow alphabetic sentence. They use this first one for the Scripps writing contest for handwriting because these use every letter in the alphabet at least once. So there's some trivia for you today too. If you're ready to move on, thank you for giving me feedback in the chat. If you're ready to move on, let's get some reactions. Give me a thumbs up or a yes. So Laura and Shannon, Peggy, Ruth, look at you guys, Dawn and Melissa, Sherry and Melissa. Oh yeah, we have 2 Melissas. Melissa, sorry about that. You probably thought I was calling both of you twice. And Jenny is in our chat with a yes. And hopefully Nikki and Sandra and Andrea are okay too. Yes, she is, and Nikki is. Well, you are all being very attentive, so I'm going to keep you going. And apologies for jumping out of order there. And I'm going to go ahead now to custom line spacing. You can change the space between the lines of text. We pretty much know single space, double space, or maybe even 1.5. But you could even use decimals. And I will confess, I've never done this, but sure wish I knew. Because sometimes I'm just trying to fit a little too much into a space. And that 0.9 for line spacing would have helped. That is what it looks like here in the animation. Simple activity for us to do. And our to do is going to be on, I might have skipped a resource here. We'll come back to it. And I am out of order. Pasting, line spacing. There we go. Slide 11 has our custom line spacing task for us to do. Whenever you select the text, and we see this text, it's the same as before. It's too big. It even has a background color of white. I wanted you guys to see that just bursting out of the frame. And when I use one of my new keyboard tricks like Control or Command A, I can select it all and then go up to line spacing. Line spacing, and I will confess, your custom spacing might be in a different place than me, but I just always saw these here, single, 1.15, 1.5, and double. I really thought that was it. That's all I ever would get. But custom, it's going to allow me to put in a decimal. So which one of these is going to help? The 0.9 or the 0.8? 0.9, it doesn't look like it quite cut the mustard. So try my Control A to select it all. Go to line spacing. Now I'm already on custom 0.09. I need to look now at the bottom for custom spacing to type in a new number. So you all should find the answer to what fits. And it looks like I probably need to reposition my text box to be placed nicely over at the frame. And this was new to me. So it's kind of ironic. I've learned a lot. And I thought that's kind of why I wanted to share these things. If somebody who uses computers every day for 40 hours a week found this many new things out of this presentation, I had to share this with teachers. And I'm going to come back to slide 12. This was a resource that it's actually an add-on, because that's what part of this class is, not only the tips, but I wanted to put my own spin on some of the resources. Extensis Fonts is an add-on. And if you're not familiar with add-ons, in slides, you look for the menu across the top called add-ons, and you can click Get Add-ons. This is the add-ons marketplace or Google Workspace marketplace. It's separate than the Chrome Web Store where they have extensions. So they've separated the two and they've made it much more clearer than in the past. And these are things that work along with Google Slides. And I'll ask, you guys can put it in the chat, if any of you use an add-on other than the one I'm speaking about, please share it in our chat. I'd love to hear other features. And we have a teacher, a world language teacher with us. So easy accents would be one. And we could even check out Slides Translator. Oh, Andrea, she uses flat music notation. Yes, that's a good one. Shannon uses Nearpod. I know from my own experience, I use Pear Deck. And we're here if we wanted to search for one called Extensis, E-X-T-E-N-S-I-S. It is free. You might run across a few that might be part of a subscription or part of a license, but we're after free, and Extensis Fonts is the one. Now, I already have it installed. I also have admin access, so if I wanted, I could install it for my entire domain, and I don't need to do that. But if you would like to add this, all it is a tool to see fonts a little easier as you're selecting them, and it's a longer list of fonts because you probably get tired of the few that you're given. So I'm going to close this. I already have it. I go to add-ons. I go down to extensive fonts and I click start. Now, if you're installing this, you might need to allow some permissions for accessing and applying these fonts to your file. So there's nothing I need to do right here, right now, but I just wanted to let you all know there's access to extensive fonts through an add-on. If you're looking for something at the primary line level that might be close to Zane or Blozer, you're not going to find an exact match, but Cody Star is one. So I'd find that in the letter C since I'm just going alphabetically. And if you're looking for, and Railway Dots, Cody Star is all caps, Railway Dots, the font is printed out with dots. So if students were tracing, and then Londrina Outline is a good one for someone who wants to make a coloring page. So if I typed out my student's name, then they could color it in. And that's because Londrina is just a real thick, but it's just an outline font. So I think all the farther I'm going to be able to scroll for you guys is down to Cody Star here. Those are really more for our primary audience, and just wanted to tell you about an add-on that works with Google Slides. And we got a few other suggestions from those of you who are live. Okay, well, you're welcome, Dawn. She gave us a thank you in our chat. Let me get back here to our presentation. That was, oh, I didn't even do it because I was distracted by my resource slide. So let me see, am I again outside of order? Because I'm looking at transparent image. Yes, okay. I already did the line spacing. I'm getting all scrambled up. So let's go to the next one. Custom line spacing. Now we're going to image searching. If you're trying to find images, I highly recommend adding a word like PN, like the word transparent, or a file type like PNG for pictures, graphic group. I know I messed that up. But what you're doing is getting an image that won't have a background, and it looks much more professional in your presentation. And this animation is just showing a Google search, but you can search within slides. I had shortly shown you that. And what I like, though, is that you can try that technique of just dragging that image in the Google search preview box, and you can drag and drop it onto your slide like I demonstrated earlier. So I perhaps do not have a practice for this one, and I'm going to go ahead to our next to do. Let me see, image searching and link sharing. There it is. So link sharing is a way for you to take your presentation, like I did with my practice file, and you change the ending of the URL. And some of you have probably heard of copy, or if you go to a conference and the person hasn't provided you with their presentation, or if you just have a link to view it, you can adjust the ending of it and make yourself a copy of the presenter's file. So the animation showing anything after the /edit, whatever, all that garbage after the word edit, and including the word edit, you're going to swap that out with the word copy. It automatically triggers your file to make a copy. This is kind of what Google Classroom does for you. And if I want to practice this, there are several, goodness, my mouse has just gone wild on me. There's my transparent image background that I was looking for. And then there is our next slide, since I skipped practicing bringing in my transparent image. /present is going to actually put your presentation in presentation mode, which is what I should have done. So you all wouldn't be looking at my slides on the side, my slide deck. If you want to have your presentation kind of embedded on a website, your classroom website, then you can do preview with all this little extra and you won't get the toolbar across the bottom. So let's say it's a single slide. Then they won't see the arrows across the bottom to go to slide 2 or 3. There are no other slides. Why would they need to see the toolbar? This is what I use for you to get a copy of the practice file. I swapped out the /edit and I put /template/preview. And that gives you the big blue preview button or to make copy the template at the top right. So here I've already provided a link and I've even made it bold so I could wipe out everything and then I could change this to template/preview. And I could even test that out. I'll select it and paste it here to see if that works. Looking good, yep. So I can make myself another copy of this. Always practice before you send that link out to somebody, and you can do that with an incognito window or maybe another browser. A lot of schools don't let the students have incognito window. The teachers are usually okay, but there are a few that even the teachers can't use incognito window in Google Chrome. Now, because I'm messing up a lot today, let me go back to slide 13 for that transparent image. I can go up to insert menu and I'll get that image and just search the web. So I had done elephant, but if I wanted the word transparent, and they even suggested for me the word transparent background or PNG. Well, I'll try the one with transparent background and look, I got all these elephants. I just drag and drop him and he's being created onto my slide. Much more professional, cleaner, and then it matches whatever background color your slide is or your theme. Now, this is a point where if you're watching the recording, and those of you who are live with me, you do not have to turn in your file to me. You have been checking with me and telling me your alert with the reactions you've been giving me. But those who watch the recording, this is the link to share the file with me so I can see how you were doing with all these things you had to do. And that is part of earning credit. Now, for time's sake, I just want to share with you, because one of those links to practice was a template, that got me thinking, boy, and this is not part of the original presentation, but you know, the themes that come with Google Slides, blech, they're terrible, right? They're just a few very vanilla. And I wanted to list for you where I go. And these are 3: Slides Go, Slides Mania, Slides Carnival. I think I have almost every one of them from Slides Carnival. And if you have your own, please throw it in our chat for those of you who are live and let me know. I'd love to learn of some more resources. So they often offer PowerPoint and Google Slides. You download the one you need. And in Slides Go, be sure to filter the display to free. So that way you're not, caught off guard. You find something you really like, and then all of a sudden, darn, you have to be a member and pay premium. I'm also providing something that just popped up in my mail, actually, even though this was a blog post written on May 11th, 2020, that Matt Miller from Ditch That Textbook, he has 30+ free PowerPoint themes. And you're like, wait, I don't want PowerPoint, I want Google Slides. No worry, you can upload your PowerPoints to Drive. You can still open and edit them. But if you're ever going to, oh good, Andrea is saying PowerPoint templates can be used and then saved. And that's the point I want to make. If you're going to end up having students make a copy, make sure you have, and I have here, a folder, let me head out a little bit. Make sure you take that extra step and you convert it fully to a Google Slides file. And I say that because you are limited when you do share a copy of a PowerPoint. And like, for example, here is a would you rather PowerPoint. And I don't want your students to get stuck at a certain point when they're trying to do their work because they're limited with the tools. And I know this is still a PowerPoint because of this badge at the top, .pptx. I need to go to File before sending this out to students, and I'm going to save as a Google Slides. Now it is officially converted over, and it is a true blue slides file. And so I'm so glad Andrea contributed in our chat. Yep, PowerPoints can be brought in. So check out Microsoft's site too. They have a great template library. I'm going to close this example and let's see how we're doing. Link share options. Okay. Copy and paste multiple slides. And this one, let me just clean up the screen a little to hit this in present mode. Copying, paste multiple slides. Whenever you have your slide deck open, the slide side panel, you're going to see that you can select multiple slides either by holding down Control or Command, whatever you're on, PC or Mac. And then you copy and paste them within the same file or even another file. So here's what happens to me. It's not necessarily I'm just grabbing a few slides and putting two presentations together, or I guess if I was reviewing for like an end of unit review and I wanted to pull out a slide from each lesson of that unit, but that's just not how I am working with the classes I teach. That may fit you. But what happens to me, I start a presentation and then about the third slide in, I think, oh, I need to go to Slides Carnival and go get a slide. And I'm like, gosh darn it, I don't want to start all over. So what I end up doing, I modified this task just slightly for you all. And I see, yep, I had another template website. That's just resources. But here's what I end up doing. I just want to go to that slides template website. I download it. Now it's in my Google Drive. And I want to make the slide presentation with just 3 slides. I want to make it have that new theme. And so I modified this task a little. And I might have lost some of you there. But here I have linked to a slides file that you can just use as a copy source. When I click this link on slide 19 in our practice file, I'm just going to click it. This opens it in a new tab. And oh, look, it has this cute little theme with a grid, and it has some, looks like tape and some wash all over it. And I want to copy. I could pick multiple slides. I'm just going to grab one, and I can right click and I can pick copy, or I can hit my Control C, Command C, whichever way you like to copy. I'm coming back to this slide. I'm on slide 19, and I'm just positioning my mouse between 18, well, yeah, 18 and 19. This is going to throw off the numbers, but I'm doing mine just temporarily. And I right click here and I do paste. Now, if you notice, there is a link to paste without the formatting. But if I did just hit paste, what happens is it comes up and says, hey, what do you want to do? Would you like to match the style? Well, no, this is my boring style. I don't want to match it. I don't want to like wipe this out. I want to keep the original style. And that way it stays with the colors I wanted. And when I hit that choice, it will not be brown. It will be blue like the original was. And I even showed you all that if you inherited brown tape, you know that you kind of absorb the colors for the original and not the outside presentation. I know this one was rough. Can I get some feedback from you all out there? Are you with me if you're live? Okay, I didn't lose Shannon. She's with me at least. And Sandra and Melissa, great. We have one Melissa, two Melissas, okay. Laura and Don and Sherry, great. And Peggy, yeah, this was rough. And this is a new class, so that's why I'm having so many hiccups. So you can rewatch, actually just rereading this slide is gonna help you. So I'm going to take mine out. That slide is going to throw off my numbers. Where I see on my clock, we're just a minute out. And I think all I did was duplicate. Okay, now see how many more we can get to before we run out of time. And I might go over just a few minutes. I understand if you have to leave right at noon, because class technically I didn't record in the first 5 minutes. So I'm going to go to 12:05. You could watch the last 5 minutes of this recording if you have to leave. Now, we've done the copy paste, and I modified it from multiple slides to actually just do one slide and inherit that new style from that theme. And format options, we're close to the end here. Format, some of the more specialized text formatting we see being animated here. There's a little group of menus that change based on what you've clicked. And it'll be a sidebar off to the right. And they'll let you do drop downs, a shadow, just give you different effects to your text, maybe help it pop out more and give it some depth. So I'm going to close this extra presentation. I am coming to slide 20 in the original numbering. Slide 20 is to format this text. I'm going to try my triple click. So I clicked once just to activate the text box. Click, click, click. Got it all. And now my screen, I'm zoomed in kind of large, but I will see the word format options. And if you weren't zoomed in as much, you'll see format options right there on your toolbar. What do I want to do? Drop shadow? Yeah, it gave it a little effect, reflection. The reflection is really far away and it's mostly hidden by the things below. So I'm just going to do a drop shadow. Now this says try adjusting the text fitting on the shape. Oh, so if I do my triple click trick, and I'm going to come over here. Format options is still open, saving myself some time. That has a special text fitting, and I could find indents, the padding I can adjust. I can decide what I need to do. Try adjusting the text just to fit into this shape. Okay, well, that's just moving it over. Special, first line. Oh, we can do a hanging indent. And we can even change the size of that. That's not really the task I need. Well, let's head down here to the padding. So you're able to move it around. I think I'm doing okay. I feel like it's inside the shape. I just was clicking happily with my buttons. And I'm going to try the flag. That's the last task on the to-do for format options. And when it's an image, then I can see that I can do recolor. That's special because of an image. So I can make it match with a theme I'm using or color code if I'm using an image. Like this is always the color yellow because I want my students to proceed with caution, but maybe when it's review, it's the color purple. And it's a little symbol or icon I use in my presentations. So that is how you can do some formatting. Wrapping up here. And I know I have some resource slides too that I might just go ahead and skip. You can check those out in the presentation, but color options. You can do word art. And when I look at the next slide for color options, I can look for word art. So where do you find it? So insert, and let's find word art. And you just type. Don't worry about anything else. There's nothing you can do at this point. And you hit enter. It's always going to come in a bland gray, and you can adjust it however you like. Sometimes if you really do need to keep text large, this is like the rare case when I say it's okay to skew a box. It doesn't work well with shapes and photographs, but text is one time when you can. And once it's selected, then you can go ahead, change your colors, change your borders, and decide, make it what you like with your line styles and colors. And over here, I never closed my format options. So I could do even a drop shadow with word art or a reflection if I wanted to. Now, after format and color options, drawing special characters. This would help. We have a world language teacher with us where if you're trying to do a lot of those accents and special characters, and it's kind of funny, I meant to grab one with me and have it nearby, but any pen that has like that soft, foamy or a little bit of rubber for using it as a stylus on touch screens, you can use a touchscreen stylus on your trackpad to do drawings, but maybe you're good on your trackpad with just your finger. And the idea is that you're able to draw and then insert these accents that are hard to find unless you know the character code, the keyboard combination. Many people don't, but you can draw. And how that's done, and I'm skipping a little slide here. That's just a resource, a couple actually, 2 resources. And I'm going to skip down to drawing the special character. When I go up to insert, I can go down to, I have to first click in the text box, so apologies. Click first in your text box so it knows where the special character is going to go. And I can draw over here. Whatever I've doodled, whether it's with a touchpad, a 2-in-1 where I can touch the screen, or my mouse, then it will bring up all the suggestions. So I want this, and I could even leave that box open. So I have res, S-U-M, and then I'll draw another one. And I can have the proper accents when I want to type resume. And there are actual extensions or add-ons out there that let you do accents. So maybe our world language already uses one of those. So look at the time. I actually went past 12:05. I apologize. And if you want to try the last one on your own, it's very easy. It's just maintaining the slide position, not a big one. I do hope you found this class with at least 1 or 2 new tips or skills that you can pick up and use now, or at least if you already knew it, please pass it on to your students so that they can select quicker. Maybe they can find more fonts easier. And I want to hope that you found some value in what you learned today.